Hey there, Screw Army. How's it going? Today, I want to talk about Untaidake, the Cloud Keeper.
You can join the Screw Army by subscribing.
Alright, so this is a land that I feel like does not see nearly enough play for how good it is. Perhaps it's not CDH good, no. Maybe it could find some fringe play, but not too sure about that. Entering the battlefield tapped is usually a big no-no in that format because it's just such a fast format and whatnot. But when you're in casual EDH, I do think that you've got time at least sometimes for some of these lands like this. I think it's way better than a lot of the other lands, and it's a very cheap land, still about $5 or $6 because it's only been printed once. Probably needs a reprint, so that would help out the price a little bit. But still, I think that's not unreasonable. It's only in about 5,000 decks in EDH Rec, so it's basically in 0 decks out there in the world of EDH, and it's such a really good card that should go in nearly every deck for the most part. I'd put this in more decks than what I'd put in most other soul lands and whatnot, because it's such a small downside entering tapped. Only takes one turn for you to have to be able to untap this thing and be able to use it, and then you've got yourself a budget. You've got yourself a budget Ancient Tomb, so that's really good. Like, Ancient Tomb being a $80 to $90 card, like, you know, that's amazing. Like, that you could get something that's on similar par to that here, you know. And again, yes, sure, you have to play for legendaries. What's that? You've got a commander in the game of Commander. What's that? You've got command attacks in the game of Commander. What's that? They keep printing more and more very good and powerful legends for a lot of the different strategies that are in Magic. Who would have thought, you know? Like, it doesn't just go in Legendary Tribal, though yes, you could put it in a Legendary Tribal deck very easily, but still, there's just so many times that you'll have Legendaries in your deck for the most part nowadays, especially in your command zone, so the opportunity cost there is not that big. Yes, 2 life is a bit of a hit, as Ancient Tomb is as well, but still, that's okay for 2 mana. And again, the other downside just isn't that big of a problem, because again, you're playing EDH, you've got your commander right there and whatnot, so you can always use it for that. And there are a few other lands that you can help turn this into another thing. I know a lot of people were talking about Chromatic Lantern with this. I'm not a huge fan of Chromatic Lantern, but I can see that. That seems fine too-ish, I guess. I can't think of I don't know whether it's an Ice Druid, but it's from, I think it's from, not Kamigawa, Eldraine, I think it is, or maybe it's from Zendikar, that basically does the same things, but as Chromatic Lantern, but lets you play an additional land per turn. That one seems pretty good as well, because again, you can just tap it for any mana then, and avoid the 2 life, but the 2 life, honestly, again, with Ancient Tomb, still isn't that bad for the most part, especially if you're in a deck that contains anything to do with life gain. Black and white have a lot of life gain synergies going on, so if you're in black and white, at least, if you're in Mardu, or if you're in Jeskai, or whatever, if you're in a 4-color deck with black and white, or even just white, or even just black, still I would think that you would have some amount of kind of life gain synergies there to, gain back that life. And again, for 2 mana, again, isn't that big of a deal. Yes, there might be times that you might not want to use it because you might not have a legendary spell, and you can't activate abilities with it, which is a little bit of a downside. But again, I think that there's so many times that it's an upside and an upgrade to so many other cards that I've already talked about here on the channel, that I do think that it's well worth thinking about. And the couple of downsides that it has just don't seem that bad. I don't know why this land hasn't caught on as much as what I think it should have done. It seems like one of the perfect lands for Commander. It seems like it's built for Commander. Except for maybe entering tapped. And again, that's not that big of a downside, to be honest. So, yeah, this definitely should see more play, in my opinion. Maybe not in every single deck. But again, if you're wanting to find yourself an Ancient Tomb style of an effect, or again, the Temple of the False Gods effect, especially when you're not in green and you kind of need those kinds of effects to a degree, then I wouldn't look much further than this, because this will do that thing and probably do it better than most of those, except for probably Ancient Tomb, and it will do it on a relative budget. So that's a really big upside to this kind of card. It might go up in price a bit now that more people might know about it or whatever, but who knows? You never know with these cards. The demand isn't that big, I'm sure, and whatnot, so hopefully it's not going to be that much. But still, I do know that a few other people have pointed this out, but still, I still want to get that out there and say, hey, come on guys, what's going on? But you guys can always let me know what you think. Are the downsides actually really stupidly high, and I'm just overrating this a little bit? I don't know. I don't think so, but hey, you can always debate it in the comments, and hope you've enjoyed anyway, and hope you'll join me in the next one.